What's up? We are back with another edition of the Stan and Neil Show.
He's Stan. I'm Neil.
What's up, buddy? Hey, good to be back with you one day later this week, usually on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Thursday this week, because our schedules are all over the map. We both got all kind of stuff going on. So we appreciate those of you who are joining us live. Please like and subscribe if you're into what we're doing here. It's sports talk without all the nonsense, without all the hot takes for hot take's sake, from two guys who have been there and done that. We'll tell you what you need to know so you can sound really smart around the water cooler or the tee box or the conference room or wherever you might be talking sports. Stick with us and we'll give you the inside info you need to sound really intelligent about all of it.
I get all my info from the water cooler. I'm the only one standing at it, though, so I really don't know a whole lot. But I do know hit the follow button, man, and that way you won't miss a week. And subscribe to our channel as well. We're trying to build a community here on Twitch. We want to thank the 1,000 or so people that have joined us already, and we got a big show coming up. We got a lot under our belt, and I guess, Stan, we should start with the NBA playoffs. That's kind of the hot ticket. Although the NHL playoffs have been, they've been really, really something as well. But we'll go NBA.
All right, Game 6, Knicks Hawks underway right now. Hawks with a 2-point lead. Overall, New York leads the series 3-2. My theory is the same as Becky Hammon's theory, that it's hard to win in the playoffs when your best player is 6'1", as Jalen Brunson is for the Knicks. I don't think they'll have a problem getting past the Hawks. I think the Hawks are maybe a year or two away, but you never know. I think if the Knicks don't finish it off tonight, they have a great opportunity in the Garden. I think the moment might be too big for the young Hawks, even if they get to Game 7. So I'm thinking New York's going to pull this off, but I'm not as bullish on them as I was when the playoffs started.
Yeah, I love Brunson. I remember when he won the Wooden Award out of Villanova, and he came to our Sports Center set in Los Angeles and got a chance to talk to him, and he was so humble. And you couldn't help but root for him. And that still seems to be the case in a lot of ways. I'm not sure he's the best player on the Knicks, though. I think OG might be the guy that they've got to hook their wagon to. He appears to be the most consistent. You'd like to think Karl Anthony Towns, but he can be hit or miss. But he's been a hit lately. He had 14 in the first half of the last game. He had 6 assists. Brunson does his thing constantly at 39, 17 in the fourth. He had 8 assists. But they're not getting anything from the kid they got from Brooklyn,
Mikal Bridges.
He's getting splinters at the end of the game, man. He's not even in there. And the thing that strikes me about the Knicks, from what I read and what I hear, is they've got chemistry problems, which is weird, given that some of these guys like Bridges and
Hart,
Brunson
and Hart.
And Hart were all together in college.
Yeah,
all on that championship team with DiVincenzo. But anyhow, I remember when I was in high school, Stan. It was my senior year, and I was in chemistry and about a week. And then I went up to the teacher. Pete Whites was his name. He was always chewing tobacco in the classroom and just, and he talked like this. And I said, "Hey, I'm dropping this class." And he said, son, what are you going to do with your life? And I said, well, it's not going to involve chemistry. I know that. But that wasn't true, because proof is right here. Chemistry does do something, because it's my chemistry with Stan and his with me and ours together that led us here and led us to have such a successful run on SportsCenter. And if I didn't like Stan or Stan didn't like me, not only would we not be doing this, but the folks out there who liked watching us on SportsCenter would have said, yeah, they're pretty good, but I don't know if they like each other. And my my point is, if the Knicks have a chemistry problem in their locker room, that's a bigger problem than their best player being 6'1".
Yeah, I would agree with that. And that kind of chemistry that you're talking about between us and between the Knicks, I think that's more psychology or sociology than selenium and chromium and that kind of stuff. Yeah. I was no go on that stuff either. I mean, in high school, we had a priest teach it to us, and I'm like, I couldn't drop it. I had to take some of it in high school, and I couldn't drop it. And I had to sit there and be like, okay, was the priest teaching it? Maybe there's some divine intervention coming at some point that's going to help me understand this. But I never got it, most of the sciences. The only thing I remember from any science class is that wind is created by the uneven heating and cooling of the Earth's surface. That's the only thing I remember from any science or math class I ever took. So I was thankful for journalism because it gave me something I could actually understand. I've always been good with words and better with words than with numbers. But I think Karl Anthony Towns should be dominating this series. Atlanta doesn't really have a big man who can guard him, but he doesn't play like a big man too often. It's a lot of high post jump shots and threes and then like reckless drives to the basket when it's like, hey man, if you go and get down near the basket, you don't have to dribble there. They can pass it to you there, and you can use your size advantage. But at this point in his career, he is who he is, but he should be the best player in this series. And that's why I think it's a problem, because it's easier to take the ball out of Brunson's hands and keep Brunson from beating you than it would be to try to beat him. But he's not that guy. Brunson is the alpha male on that team. I think he's the leader, and maybe that's a part of the chemistry. I don't know enough about the inner workings of the locker room to know. Maybe the coaching staff wants Towns to be the guy. Maybe other guys on the team said, look, dude, we got a big size advantage in this series. Let's take advantage of it. So I don't know if there are chemistry problems. I don't know what they are, but I just I agree about OG Anunoby, but I think sometimes he plays a little out of control. He's so big and strong that I think he just says, okay, I'm going to big and strong him, and doesn't make touch plays or finesse plays. It's all just bull in the china shop. And you're right, they need more from Bridges. Now, CJ McCollum has been fantastic in this series, settling the Hawks down, because they got a group of young athletes that I think are going to be really, really good, but they want to play at a fast pace, which they've done all season long. But you got to take care of the ball if you're going to do that. You have to mix in ball security with that fast pace, because if you keep turning it over, it doesn't do you any good to play at a fast pace. So I still think the Hawks are a year or two away, and I think the Knicks eventually are going to win this series. If they don't win it tonight, I don't think they'll have too much of a problem in New York for Game 7.
Yeah, Atlanta won the two games that it won by a point each, so they could have gone either way. They held McCollum to 6 points last game and ran away with it. I'm impressed by Atlanta. I think the future is bright, but I think the Knicks are here now. I mean, listen, that's why Dolan fired Thibodeau, because he thought, the Knicks should be playing for an NBA title. All they did was make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. You don't think Mike Brown's ass is tight right now, going having to go six, maybe 7 games? I mean, he's not even going to want to answer the phone if he doesn't make it to the semis after what happened to Thibodeau. So, I remember Karl Anthony Towns, he won the 3-point shooting contest one year. So he thinks he's a 3-point shooter. And sometimes there's nothing worse than a big guy, because not only if he misses, now you've lost a chance at an offensive rebound because your rebounder is standing out there at the 3-point line. So I had the Knicks in the finals, and then you told me about the whole your best player can't be 6'1", and I thought, wow, I wish I could have a do-over. But anyhow, I'm still rolling with the Knicks, and I'm rolling with them against the Hawks. Who else we got?
Okay. All right, 76ers and Celtics. Boston's up 3-2 in that series. Philly, gut check win in Game 5 to force a Game 6. But Boston missed its last 16 shots in that game. They missed their last 16 shots. And you know my take on the Celtics. My take on the Celtics is they're going to do what they do. They're going to play the same way every night. All the guys can shoot. Now, if everybody's making it, they're going to blow you out. Some guys are making it, some guys aren't. You can stay in a game with them, okay? But they're going to play hard, they're going to play defense, and they're going to shoot, and they're going to shoot a lot of threes, okay? Now, just so happened in that game, everybody was off, okay? So you got them on a bad night. Make or miss league, that's going to happen sometimes. I don't think Philly can count on that again. I think this one's over tonight. I think the Celtics have a bounce-back game and win this one decisively.
I'm going with Philly tonight.
Wow.
Because Maxie said we owe our fans a win in that building. Embiid rejuvenated last game with 33. Boston really blew a chance because I think the 76ers were ready for slaughter, so to speak. But Boston came out uninterested, no energy, no sense of purpose in that Tuesday game. And like I said, Embiid, probably hearing everybody talking about the 76ers are better without him. Instead, he was the best player on the court. I still think the Celtics look like the best team in the East and will win this series, but I think it's going to be 7 in this one. I'm going to take Philly tonight. Why not?
So, big game from Embiid, big game from Maxey. What do you see?
Big game from Maxey. He's the one who put it out. He's the one that put it out there that, hey, we owe him one. 76ers, if Embiid's on, they got a good team. I mean, they got playoff Paul and they got Oubre who, can color his hair and be a pain in the ass. And Edgecombe he's a great young looking player. So, and I think they got a good coach. I mean, Nick Nurse has won a title now, so has Missoula. I mean, listen, if you put them all out there, Boston's got the better team. But like you said, if Boston's not hitting the threes in Philly tonight, if they go 13 for 50, then
you can stay in it. You can stay in it because they're going to keep shooting them. They're going to keep shooting whether they're making them or not. They are committed to how they play.
Yeah, 100%.
But I just think they're going to bounce back tonight. I think, as you said, they were kind of disinterested last game. I think Philly got their attention now. And they realize, hey, we can't sleepwalk through this. That's still a good team over there with some prideful players who are really talented. So they gotta play their best tonight. And I think Missoula probably got after him, and I think they'll respond because he's under the gun too. I mean, he's kind of playing with house money this season because of the Tatum injury and the fact that they overachieved and then they got Tatum back, but. You're always dealing with expectations in Boston. I mean, they expect to compete for an NBA title every single year. So, he talks about that. He says he understands what it means to coach this team. And so I think you put all that together. I think tonight they'll take care of Philly and they'll move on.
I mean, Boston fans don't just expect an NBA title, Stan. They expect an NHL Stanley Cup. They expect the Lombardi Trophy. And they expect the World Series championship because it's their birthright.
Hey, just ask Alex Cora. They ran him already.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm like, wow, it's not even May. You're running your manager already? Guy won a title for you just a few years ago. And you get off to a bad start and they run him out of town.
Yeah, because he's the one who didn't re-sign Bregman. And he's the one that traded Devers. And he's the one who can't throw a strike. So...
Oh, yeah. So and decided a few years ago to let Mookie Betts walk.
Yeah, that was all on Cora. He should have been run a long time ago.
But we digress.
Right. Yes.
All right. Nuggets Timberwolves. Now, this is really intriguing now.
Yeah.
Because Minnesota's at home, but they don't have Anthony Edwards. They don't have DiVincenzo. And, Denver looked like it woke up last game. So now 3-2, a Denver team that they missed Peyton Watson, but other than that, they're healthy. Okay? You still got Jokic.
No, they don't have Aaron Gordon tonight. I heard he's out.
Oh, Aaron Gordon's out. Okay, so Gordon's out. Okay, that almost makes it fair. But you still got Jokic as the best player on the floor. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe if Edwards is there, maybe you got an argument, but there's no argument now. So it's up to Jokic to lead them in Minnesota. I think Minnesota, if they're going to win, they got to ride the home crowd energy tonight and finish it off tonight. Io DeSumo, the old saw is that role players play better at home and teams play better defense at home. So Minnesota's got to figure it out tonight. They cannot let Jokic beat them tonight. And if they can do that, I think they're in big trouble. If it goes back to Denver for Game 7, without Anthony Edwards and without DiVincenzo, I think they're going to get run out of the building. They got to capitalize on home court tonight.
Yeah, I thought Minnesota had no chance going into this series because Edwards was not as healthy as he needed to be. And I don't know if the injury that he sustained was related to the hurt that he was feeling going in, but he is such a dynamic player, and to take him out of the lineup, you're going to really need something from Rudy Gobert, which might be asking a lot. I heard a story today about when Gobert was with Utah and they were locked up in a tight one, and they were going to double Jokic, and Gobert says, "No, I got him. And Jokic kind of put the ball down, looked at Gobert, and goes, "I've got 43 points tonight."
You don't got me.
You don't got me, yeah. So I agree with you. If Minnesota doesn't win tonight, it's over. Denver in 7. And then that would set up, what you want to see, Jokic against Wembanyama. Because I had the fortunate or unfortunate experience of watching Wembanyama in person. Have you seen him in person, Stan?
I have. It was so sad. I shot a video of him and sent it to my wife because she really likes watching him. And I said it's hard to believe how tall he is in person. It's hard to believe.
Yeah. And how he's so silky smooth. And I was at Game 4 in Portland, and we haven't talked since then. And there's a question whether he was going to play or not because he'd been concussed in Game 2 and missed Game 3. And the series was 2-1, and Portland's fandom was thinking, you know what, we could tie this series up here. And so there are all the people gathered around, the tunnel area where the players come out. And not just San Antonio fans, but Portland fans, basketball fans. And he came walking out, and the place just erupted. And then just to watch him warm up, I'd never seen him in person. Watching him warm up and just hitting 3 after 3 after 3, and just him doing the drills, and you can't believe that he's 7'5".
Right.
Or I think they list him at 7'4", but Klingen's listed.
Yeah, they say 7'5" now. He came back taller.
Yeah. He was so good, and it was really fun to it wasn't fun because I obviously was rooting for Portland. But it was fun to experience a game watching him play, and to the point that the Jokic-Wembanyama matchup is one I think a lot of basketball fans would enjoy watching. And then you've got all the auxiliary players too. Aaron Gordon being healthy for Denver, I think, is essential. The Spurs can play. The Spurs.
Yeah, they really can.
Somebody got on the Spurs. Yeah, Oklahoma City, everybody's got Oklahoma City, but if San Antonio meets them, that's going to be a heck of a Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I'm holding out for that. I really would love to see that series. It's going to be fun watching Jokic and Wembanyama, but I think San Antonio has too much other stuff around Wembanyama, too many other good players around him, where it's going to be very difficult. Because the thing about Wembanyama is, if he's under the basket, you can't come middle because he's right there. You can't come to the right side and think that you're going to reverse it. I've seen guys come to the right side and think they're going to try to reverse it, but his wingspan and his anticipation and basketball IQ are so strong that the entire lane is covered. Right side, middle, left side, there's nothing you can do if you come in the lane. And even if he doesn't block the shot, he alters so many shots, or just makes teams give up on driving the ball and just settle for jump shots. I'll tell you this story again. I told this story on the air when we were talking about him before he got to the NBA at SportsCenter. I can't remember if it was Gobert. I think it was Batum and Tony Parker when they were playing for the French national team, and they had wrapped up practice and they were leaving their facility in France. But the junior team was out there, and Wembanyama was on the junior team, and I think it was Batum who was hanging back. And they're like, "Where's Batum? Where's Batum?" So Tony Parker goes in to get him. He's like, "Dude, what are you doing?" He's like, "I'm looking at the future." And he was watching Wembanyama, and so they've known in France for a while that this was coming, and we could see it very early on. Then I believe Ramona Shelburne told a story that last year she was talking to someone about who to vote for Defensive Player of the Year. And it was I think she described the person she was talking to as a veteran player or a retired player, whatever. But the key to the story is the person told her that if you're ever going to give it to anybody else, do it this year because it's his for the foreseeable future. Nobody else is going to win one for a while now, He's just he's a phenomenon, and I think he's fully arrived now. And I will say this again too. If he ever gets man muscles, because he's just all wiry now, he's got a functional strength. But if he ever gets real man muscles on that frame, this is going to be like something we've never ever seen before. It's already something we've never seen before. The closest comparison I can think of is Ralph Sampson, but Ralph Sampson came in a similar package, but was not the player that he is.
Yeah, I mean, when Shaq says he's the first perfect big man that's ever been created, and Shaq has a very high opinion of himself, and he puts that out. He puts that out there. That's saying something. I mean, he can shoot, he can play defense. Like to your point, he was, I think, the first unanimous selection, all defense, great passer, silky smooth. And to your point also that the Spurs have they got some players. I mean, that Castle kid, third year, he's a dog. And they got Champagne, can shoot it. They got De'Aaron Fox, is so underrated. He's so smooth out there.
Gets to the basket at will,
And he is. I was so impressed with, and the coach is good. He's got him going, and he gets in their face, and his daddy played for the Sonics, Johnny Johnson.
Okay.
Back there when they had Gus Williams and Freddie Brown and all that.
Yeah. I remember John Johnson. Yeah, I didn't know that was his dad. Okay.
That's Mitch Johnson's father. Yeah.
Okay.
So, they call me Stens, talking about Wemby says he's unreal and says when the big diesel speaks, we listen.
Absolutely.
And, there was, San Antonio's a very, very, very impressive. There, to your point, they showed Duncan and Tim Duncan and David Robinson on the side in the stands sitting next to each other. And Tim Duncan's excitement face is kind of this. That's Tim Duncan excited. And so Wembanyama did a baseline move, a baseline spin move, dunk, and they flashed to Robinson and Duncan's they're looking at each other and they're giggling. Both of them are giggling. Like, damn. I mean, it was just a great shot.
Two of the greatest big men ever. Watching this guy and got him giggling like schoolgirls. And did you see his dad last game?
Yeah, he was sitting behind the bench there. Yeah.
And Avdia went up for a shot and he volleyball spiked it. And they cut away to his dad, and his dad was almost embarrassed, like, that's what he does. You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing personal, it's what he does. But he's a special talent. It's gonna be a lot of fun to watch, and we're gonna find out if the OKC would-be dynasty has found somebody who's gonna mess that whole plan up. They still got draft picks in their pocket. But I don't know if they can find. Maybe they can draft two guys and stack them on top of each other to deal with Wembanyama moving forward. But just when it looked like they might be building a dynasty with all those great players, one championship under their belt, and all those draft picks, now here comes San Antonio, looking like it's got all the pieces too.
Well, to your point on man muscles, if Chet Holmgren gets man muscles,
same
and
thing.
when Benyama gets man muscles, then those are your two guys that are really going to be the focal point, I think, of a lot, and kind of in the way that that Wilt and Russell or Wilt and Abdul-Jabbar were, back in the way back.
Yep. Yeah, I'm enjoying all of the series. There've been some blowouts, but all the series are pretty much competitive. The ones that are still there, they're all competitive. But I can't help but fast forward to San Antonio OKC because I can't wait. I think those are going to be some classics.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Lakers and the Rockets. I tweeted out last night after that game that the Rockets offense is so bad that the only thing that makes it work is the Lakers defense. Because, Houston is like, okay, let's pass it around. Hey, man, you got anything you can do with it? No, not really. You got anything you can do? No. Hey, let's pass to Şengün and let him barge to the basket. Okay, if they stop Şengün, kick it out to Terry Easton for a corner three. And that's pretty much their offense.
Yeah. They did not play with a sense of urgency in Game 4 and in Game 5. And Game 4 that was at Houston, so you figured the Rockets were at least going to split and be down 3-1 after the Lakers took the first three. But you didn't know because the Rockets absolutely, I was going to say shit themselves, but I wanted to say something kinder. But I just did. At the end of Game 3,
that was inexcusable.
Oh my God! It was like what just happened? And I love Ime Udoka. Yeah, he just completely just threw the entire team under the bus. But that's his style, man. And he wasn't the one throwing it away in the half court. He can't run on the court.
But okay, if you blow a 6-point lead in 30 seconds, okay, at least some of that has to be on the coach. Because even if your guys are prone to throw the ball away, and Houston has had problems closing out games all season long, that's been their Achilles heel. That's been the big knock on them, okay? If you know that, you have to do something to settle them down in that moment. A 6-point lead with less than 30 seconds. There had been teams with that kind of lead had won more than 1,700 straight games. I think it was 1,731 or something like that, and with a 6-point lead and less than 30 seconds to go. Is that Pickle?
Oh, this is Relish.
Relish. What's up, Relish?
Pickle's down here.
Pickle's down there. All right. Yeah, so I understand. Look, it was the players who did it, okay? But you coach those players. So you got to take some responsibility for it. That being said, I think the Lakers are in trouble. I really do. Because Houston is going to go home now. If they win that game, and I believe that they will, Kevin Durant likely coming back for Game 7. And he may be able to sort out Houston's problems on offense. And if not, just do it himself if he has to. And I don't think the Lakers have a defensive answer for him in a Game 7. So, they got to try to win this one on the road. The word is Durant's not going to play in Game 6. So they got to go in, and LeBron James is going to have to put the cape on. Austin Reeves pretty good last night. He had 22 in his return. But I think this is a LeBron James game in Game 6. And whether that's him going out and scoring 40 or drawing double teams and setting up open shots for Smart and Hachimura or drawing attention, giving Reeves driving lanes to the bucket, LeBron James has to lead the way because they really don't have any other choice. They don't have any other option right now. He's got to be the one to do it. And so this is another opportunity. I hate the word legacy when it comes to sports because it's so often used and misused, and people start talking about your legacy in your second year and that kind of foolishness. But I think this is another game, another series that can add to the tremendous legacy of LeBron James, which is already secured. I mean, he's already one of the great players of all time. But if he helps them pull this out without Austin Reeves for most of the series, I think it adds another layer to what he's been able to do, especially in the postseason. But I'm really worried that they're gonna go down in this series.
Yeah, Michael Jordan is the greatest player that I've ever seen play, but yep. LeBron has sustained greatness longer than anybody I've ever seen.
Great way to put it.
Last night, you mentioned Reeves. Reeves had a wide open three in that final minute that he had to hit, missed yep. that, and then coming down when they were, they needed 2 scores, but they also LeBron shot threw that 3 up, and he was drifting left. I mean, it was a horrible shot that was not
panic.
befitting.
It was panic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's like I was surprised he didn't just freight train it to the hole and get the 2 that he was gonna get, and then yep. go, boom, immediate foul. Especially if you can foul the Thompson kid because he can't shoot free throws worth a lick. And then yep. you make him hit one, and at least give yourself a shot to tie it or win it. So I was kind of surprised watching that at the end. It seemed like your point of panic, and that doesn't seem like that's usually LeBron's MO. But yeah, they don't have a point guard, and they don't have Durant, and they just won on your floor when they shouldn't have. And that's another team kind of like Boston in Game 5. The Lakers in Game 5 didn't come out with a great sense of urgency through. They did build up a lead, but they weren't able to sustain it. And you got to put your foot to the pedal to the metal and go. And they just kind of lit up. And I was surprised by that because I thought last night the Rockets were ready for the taking.
Yep. So we've seen, I believe it's 4 teams go down 3-0, force a Game 7, and then lose in the Game 7. We've never seen anybody come back and win it after going down 3 games. Lakers are in jeopardy, though, for a distinction that nobody wants. They really need to lock down these next 2 games. And if Houston figures out something that works offensively, some way to get into some kind of set that doesn't involve just Şengün trying to bully his way to the basket, the Lakers could be in trouble because they're not exactly a defensive juggernaut, So it's a fair fight. Houston's inept offense against the Lakers' subpar defense. So that part is a fair fight, and I think this is LeBron James. I mean, like you put it on a 41-year-old man, but that's what it is. That's what it is for the Lakers right now without Doncic.
Yeah, great expectations.
Okay, how many games have you watched in the Cleveland-Toronto series?
I was just going to say, Stan, you got to handle the Cleveland-Toronto series. I don't think I've watched a second of it.
I've watched pieces of it, but you know how like they have the game staggered. One game will come on at 4, and then one game will come on at 5, and then one game will come on at 7. We're talking West Coast times here, folks. We're on the West Coast, so that'd be 7, 8, and 10, right? If that Cleveland game is the 8 o'clock game, I don't ever really make it to that. I might watch the last 5 minutes after the first game is over, and before the third game has begun. If they're the second game in the middle. Okay, and then if they're the first game, and then I just wait for the second game. Like it hasn't been compelling. I mean, it's a good series. I mean, it's 3-2 Cleveland right now. So it's been competitive, but it just doesn't have the hook it seems that the other series have. I still think Cleveland's going to win it. Toronto's made a good showing, but I think Cleveland's going to win it. It may go 7. Toronto may get another one at home, but I think Cleveland's ultimately going to win it. I think Cleveland's too talented not to win it, though. Toronto will guard you, start to finish. They're going to play defense, but I think Cleveland.
Yeah, and Scotty Barnes, man, he's a player. I'm sorry to interrupt. Yeah, because when I say I haven't watched a second of it, I should clarify that I haven't watched a second of it live, but I've watched all the highlights of it, whether it's from the Ernie Johnson crew or the NBC crew or whoever it is. NBC crew, you know the coolest guy in the NBC. How cool is Carmelo Anthony? He's like,
Carmelo Anthony.
I'm not wearing a jacket. I'm definitely not wearing a tie, but I might wear a sweater. Or I might have like what looks like a members only jacket on from way back, and he's got the shades that are like partial sunglasses, and he just looks like hey, he looks like he's having the best time, and he's just cool, man. But yeah, Toronto's got some players. Scotty Barnes is a star, but Cleveland's got Harden and Mitchell in the backcourt, and neither of those guys want to play a lot of defense, and that's going to end up costing them eventually. I'm with you. I don't think it's going to cost them in this series, but as great as the expectations were for Cleveland last year, and then they flamed out, I don't see them going much further this year. I think Boston's better than them, and I think the Knicks are better than them.
Yeah, I think so too. But every series is different. I mean, I think Toronto's testing them. And so maybe that'll pay off later in terms of the way Toronto plays defense. Maybe it'll be a little bit easier when they face somebody else. But I like Cleveland's talent. I mean Harden or Mitchell can go off for 40 on any given night if one of them really gets hot. And then they got the two big guys in Mobley and Allen. I like their makeup. I mean, before Tatum came back and Boston made that surge, even before Tatum came back, I thought Cleveland might be the favorite in the East, but I've amended that to Boston now. But I really like Cleveland's overall talent as a team, and I think it's gonna carry them on a lot of nights. So we'll see what happens in the next round.
Yeah, and I don't have my bracket in front of me, but now I'm thinking about it. I believe the winner of that series gets the winner of Orlando-Detroit.
Yeah.
And the winner of the Knicks 76ers gets the winner of the Celtics. The Knicks Atlanta
Hawks.
Gets the winner of gets the winner of the Boston series. So you're going to get probably going to get the Knicks and Celtics in the quarterfinal, or what would that be? The semifinals of the
conference
East.
Semifinals. Yep.
Yeah, and then coming out of the other side, you're going to have either Cleveland if Cleveland beats Toronto, and then Orlando may beat Detroit. I mean, they got Game 6 at home, and Detroit they've got one guy who showed up, Cade Cunningham. They got an APB out on Duran. Where the hell
Jalen
he
Duran,
go? Yeah. Oh my God, the stage got way too big for him all of a sudden. I don't think anybody saw that coming. And
Wendell Carter Jr.
Orlando.
Wendell Carter Jr. has been a tough matchup for him.
Yeah, and I would have, in that alley fight, I think I would have taken Duran, but I'm taking Carter now.
Yeah, and then how about the showdown between Banchero and Cade Cunningham in that last game? I mean, that was two guys trying to will their team to a victory. I mean, it was really, really fun to watch. I'm worried about Detroit offensively because it gets down to late in the shot clock. Okay, Cade, do it. And then they hope Duran gets an offensive rebound or Stewart gets an offensive rebound, but they need more from somebody, whether that's Duncan Robinson, whether that's Tobias Harris, whether that's Duran, but somebody has to step up and say, okay, this can't all be on Cade. We gotta and I don't know if that's on JB Bickerstaff to get after the other guys and say, look, Cade's playing by himself, man.
Yeah.
Because on the other side, I mean, without Wagner, Banchero's got a big load to carry too. So that's what it may come down to is which one of those guys gets the help that he needs. And I think Orlando is better positioned for that right now. Suggs has shown some flashes. How about this kid Kane and those dunks that he had?
Yeah.
Unreal. I mean, maybe that's contributing to the whole thing with Duren, because he put one down on Duren that you just don't see guys go, first of all, go at Duren like that. And secondly, when they go at him like that, finish the play like that. And I don't know if that's had an effect on him or what, because, I remember talking to, I forget exactly who it was, but it was an NBA player. I'm like, well, what happens when you get dunked on? Like, does the guys take that personally? Does that carryover effect? It's like, no, man. You play in the league long enough, it's going to happen. So you just keep it moving. I mean, you're going to dunk on people are going to dunk on you, and you can't really work. I'm like, even if it goes viral, like people watch it like 20 times, like, nah, it doesn't really matter, So maybe not. But I mean, Duren hasn't been Duren, and he gets dunked on like that. And, I just feel like, hey, it's a topic we can bring up, whether it has a contributing factor to his struggles in this series or not. It's something maybe to think about.
If you could hit a home run, catch a touchdown pass, or dunk over somebody, which one would you pick?
Well, I grew up dreaming wide receiver dreams, and so the touchdown pass has always been highest on my list. But caught a few in practice, never in a game when I was in high school. But I dunked one time when I was 17. And
nice.
I had gotten my vertical leap up to the point where, for so long, man, I could grab the rim, but I couldn't get the ball over the rim. And then it was at night, and we had gone to the skating rink. And guys at the skating rink started talking trash about playing basketball. So we said, okay, we know where there's a park with some lights. Let's go play. So we went out to play, and, it was the adrenaline and, talking trash and everything, and being 17. And I went up and I dunked it. And I still remember it to this day. That's how good it felt.
Oh, man.
But I was never able to do it again. I tried again that night, and I couldn't do it. It was one moment in time. Because I'm landlocked. But I got up that one time. It's a great feeling.
Oh, I remember it was a great feeling when I could touch the net. Those days are behind me. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And I was a horrible baseball player, so I could never hit a home run, and I got no hands, so I couldn't catch a pass. But dunking it would have been pretty cool.
I hit home runs. I hit home runs. They're little league home runs, like when I was 10 years old, and like the third baseman falls down, and then the left fielder's biting his fingernails and not paying attention to the game, and I'm just rounding the bases and they never get to the ball. I had a few home runs like that, but I never hit one over a fence.
I'm the third baseman who couldn't get to who fell down. I was playing third base. I was playing third base in Little League, and my stepdad was the coach, and they hit a hard shot to third, and man, I couldn't jump out of the way quick enough. And Big Dave was my stepdad. He says, "Hey, Neil, you stay in front of that ball and deal with it. Let it bounce off your chest or glove it or whatever." And I said, "No way, man, that ball could hurt me." And
Big Dave's like, he's not cut out for baseball. Not at third base.
Participation trophy on line one. Yeah. So.
Hot corner.
Oh God!
Speaking of which, hey, I'm going to see Gaffigan Tuesday night.
At the Dolby, May 5th?
Yeah, he's at the Dolby Tuesday night. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Netflix is a joke comedy festival.
Yeah, I saw that. Those tickets were a little expensive for me. I'm on a budget, Stan. I didn't get that check as long as you got it. So
hey, look. Once we get all these sponsors for the Stan and Neil show, money's going to be no object.
Oh,
so if you're ready to sponsor the show, please do so. Because Neil wants to go to comedy shows, and he says it's not in the budget right now. So,
yeah, and we'll get Jim Gaffigan on as a guest. Remember, we had him on the Sports Center.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, he was funny as hell. He was one of the first celebrities I think we had on.
Yeah.
He is a funny guy, man. He is very funny. We're going to go to one. They've got Dana Carvey, David Spade, and Chris Rock.
Really?
I think they must have just added it because I went and looked for tickets, and there were a bunch of tickets, and they weren't that expensive.
Is this like for Netflix as a joke? Is it this week coming up? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Look it up, man. Yeah. So that'll be pretty good, I think. I think it's Spade and Carvey doing their podcast. They've got a podcast, and then Chris Rock is going to be their in-studio guest, and they're going to do the podcast on stage with a studio audience. So, that's I think. I don't know.
I want to see some stand-up, man. I want to see some stand-up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, well, you got 3 guys up there, so you got to figure they got to change it somehow. It's not each guy coming out and doing a set. It's all 3 of them together talking about Saturday Night Live and that kind of stuff. So,
all right. So let me ask you this. Now we both cover the NBA, up close and personal. Me with the Clippers, you with the Trailblazers. Do you understand this new lottery proposal at all?
Not enough to speak intelligently about it without notes, which I have here.
Okay, good, because I read it, and it was like chemistry class all over again. I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah. So they're calling it the 3-2-1 lottery, and the 3, 2, and 1 have to do with the number of ping pong balls.
Okay.
So they're gonna increase it to 16 teams. Right now it's 14. Your 2 new teams are going to be your first 2 teams that are eliminated from the play-in.
Okay.
So those two join the lottery. So they're going to lessen the odds of the worst getting the first pick. The teams that finish 4th through 10th get 3 lottery balls.
Okay.
The bottom 3 get 2 lottery balls, but can't pick lower than 12th, and there's talk that they might move that to 10th, even 8th, figuring that, hey, 12 is, because some teams are just bad.
Yeah.
Some teams tank, and then some teams are bad.
Yeah.
The Clippers were bad forever. They're just bad, years ago when Sterling owned them. So no team can get the first pick twice in a row, and no team can get a top 5 pick 3 years in a row. So 3 lottery balls to 4 through 10, 2 to 1 through 3, and 1 to 11 through 16.
I'm totally confused.
That's not the first time I've said something and you've given me the look like I have no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's sort of like, remember when ESPN and you had to fill out those expense reports?
Oh, that was just so you wouldn't do it, so they wouldn't have to pay you the money.
Right. And so like if you made one mistake, like you could be all the way almost finished it and have meals and rental cars and hotels, and you make one mistake, you had to start all over again.
Oh yeah.
And it was it was really and so we all came to the same conclusion. This just makes it, you know what? I'll just pay the $300 and I won't get reimbursed because this is it's too difficult. Maybe this whole system is so confusing. Hey, just go out and try to win the game. You know what I mean? And we're just wherever we wind up is where we wind up. But I don't understand what's the best way to increase our chances. So let's just go out and try to win the game. Because I really covering sports and being involved in sports my whole life. Winning is sacred. You don't ever not try to win. That's the objective. I'm not going to go harm here, but you all heard it. Okay? And so just tanking even if I understand it, even if I understand, hey, DeBance is a great player, Peterson's a great player, and you want to get him for your franchise, even if fans of the franchises understand it, it just doesn't sit well with me. I just kind of feel like you're cheating the game, and you should never cheat the game.
You remember back in the day, producer Jeff, he was an expert at the expense report, and I remember he told me, "Hey, for 20%, I'll fill your expense report out for
you." You made a side hustle out of ESPN expense reports.
Hey, man, I was willing to pay him because it's like I'm not going to get any because I got no idea what to do. So, seemed like a good deal.
Yeah, Mike Wilbon had an assistant who did all of his. And I met her and I said, "Hey, will you do that for me?" And she said, "Yeah." And so I don't remember exactly what the terms were, but she did a couple of them for me, and then we just stopped traveling. So there was no need for us to ever do it anymore. Like after 2017, did we ever travel again? Not really.
Is that when we went up to Oakland for the Warriors?
Yeah, we did the show from the finals. 2015, 2016, and I think 17, and then that was it. After that, we never really traveled anymore.
Yeah, that was dumb, but you know what are we gonna?
So that's the new lottery rules. Neil understands them. I'll eventually figure them out. I guess when the lottery gets here, isn't it May 10th, I believe?
May 10th is the lottery, I believe. Yes.
Yeah. So hopefully I'll understand it by then.
Yeah. So what do you think about this? I've always said if some is good, more is better.
It's funny because as soon as I saw the NCAA tournament thing, I said I'm going to ask Neil if some is good, is more better in this situation. I was going to ask you that exact question because that's your thing. Is more better here?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I know that's probably not the popular opinion, but the sport isn't what it used to be to begin with. Okay, it's changed so drastically from what it was a year ago. 2 years ago, okay, with the NIL and the portal, and I think the NCAA tournament was 8 teams at one time, then it was 16, then it was 24, then it was 32, then it was 54, then it was 64, then it was 66. So what the hell, make it 70. I'm fine with it being more teams. What's going to bum me out is the Weber states of the world are still not getting in unless they win the Big Sky Championship, even if they were 30-1 going into it. Instead, a 15-17 Auburn team is going to get in because they play in the SEC. So I wish that they, it's a money grab, and the money comes from the big conferences, and so we're just going to put more of those in, and the Montana states and the Boise states and the Howards. If they don't win their conference tournament, they're not getting in.
Yep. I mean, two things give you all the answers in major college sports. Okay, the money and major conferences. Okay, because that's what's controlling everything in college sports right now. This is 8 more teams, so it's more content. Now the field of 64 is still going to start the way it starts on Thursday, but there's going to be more first 4 games.
Play-in games, yeah.
Yeah. So they say don't call it play-in because you're already in the tournament. You're just not in the 64. So whatever.
Yeah, anytime they say don't call it something, I tend to call it that.
That's what it is, right? They're telling you not to call it that because that's what it is. Yeah. So you're playing your way into the field of 64. So, but you're right. I think like the Mountain West, they got a bunch of good teams. I think they may be able to secure some extra bids. Maybe the A10. But yeah, the mid majors may sneak in a team or two more. But you're right. This is to reward middling major conference teams and give them a crack at the tournament. I also saw that like now the seeding is going to be more difficult. So if you're say a 2 seed, you're going to be playing a team that would really be a 14 but they're a 15. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They might actually be a 14 in a previous year, but now they're a 15. Okay, so it gets harder. I'm sorry. If you're a 15, you'll be playing. You know what I'm saying? My mind's fogging up again. The little guy is going to have a tougher road because there will be more good teams, or the good teams will be seeded differently, or the bad teams will be seeded differently, and so you'll have a tougher road if you're a 14, 15, 16. Does that make sense?
Is now a bad time to ask you to explain the lottery to me?
But at least that's what I read. That the little guy is going to get screwed again in a few different ways. Like you said, not getting any more bids, even though there's more bids, and then the teams that they play are going to be better teams because of how it's seeded now because of this. I don't understand that one either. But they say that's how it's going to work. A10 and Mountain West, because they're good conferences, they may get more seeds, but I think it comes down to, hey, more content means more money. You're gonna have
more gambling.
Yeah, more gambling. You're gonna have less time to fill out your bracket too, because like you're gonna have to watch a whole bunch of games on Tuesday, and Wednesday, right?
Yeah, and a lot of those bracket challenges, they make you fill it out before the play-in, and you've just got to deal with it. You're figuring that, well, the team that's in the play-in, like Texas, isn't going to advance after the play-in, and here they advance. They win a couple games, so
right.
That'll mess with your brackets. Yeah,
there's going to be 11 and 12 seeds in this play-in situation, and so it's not like they're bottom feeders. They're teams that could legitimately move on. So I think you're not going to have a lot of time, even if you just have 64, even if your pool starts from 64 on, you're not going to have a lot of time to size up those matchups, because this play-in situation, or first four, whatever they're going to call it, that's going to end so close to the tournament, and there's going to be so many teams, the bracket's going to be a little bit more difficult. But they're going to make more money, and the big conferences are going to get more bids. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah, that's it. What else we got? I see our topics. We got what do we?
Oh, LIV Golf.
Oh yeah.
Oh, NFL draft. Let's go NFL draft first. How'd you feel about?
I can sum up my feelings on the NFL draft here really quick.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody knows who had the best, who had the worst draft. Nobody knows. You can analyze picks. You can project how you think they will do, but to speak in absolutes is not possible, and to insist otherwise is more of a hot take than an intelligent take. And I don't take to hot takes, so that's what I got to say about the draft. I'm gonna pay attention to the guys that I liked in college. I'm rooting for Mendoza because he's a good kid. Do I have any idea if he'll be Jamarcus Russell, Russell Wilson, or Joe Namath? No idea. But I can root for him.
Right.
But so you can be happy with who your team got, but you've got no idea how they're going to do.
Yeah, till the lights come on, especially quarterback. Until you have 300-pound men coming at you with bad intentions, and you have 2.5 seconds to process what's happening downfield, you don't know how a player is going to deal with that. So you're absolutely right. And the answer to so many sports questions is we don't know.
Yeah.
And because we don't know, that's why we're going to watch. If we knew, there'd be no need to watch. We're going to watch to find out. So you're absolutely right. That being said, I like the Saints draft a lot. Briefly, let's go over it. Jordan Tyson, first-round pick, number 8 overall, wide receiver from Arizona State, had some injury history during college, but man, he's a good physical receiver. He's got speed, makes contested catches, great run after the catch guy. I mean, I really like the pick, assuming he stays healthy. And then They went defensive tackle in the second round with Kristen Miller from Georgia. First of all, those Georgia guys are always well coached. You know, they arrive NFL ready as much as any other program, and you can never have enough big bodies on the defensive line who can be disruptive. And I think the scouting report says he's particularly good against the run, which always helps. If you can get teams off the field on first and second down with minimal gains, it helps everything when you get to third down. Okay, then they went Georgia again in the third round with this tight end, Oscar Delp. Didn't have a lot of production in college, but he showed flashes of being really, really good. Now, you know, there are people saying, hey, you know, Saints drafted the next George Kittle. And I'm like, you know, slow your roll, okay? George Kittle's done it for a long time at a high level. This kid has never caught an NFL pass. Let's slow down. Went guard Jeremiah Wright from Auburn in the fourth round, and then they got a few sleepers here. These next three guys. Bryce Lance, wide receiver from North Dakota State. 6'3", 210 pounds. Really, really productive at North Dakota State. And, you know, you wonder, quality of competition, that always comes up when you get guys from North Dakota State. But this kid looks like he could be a real sleeper. He could be a real value pick in the fourth round. And then they got speed in the fifth and sixth round. Lorenzo Styles Jr., safety from Ohio State. He's like a 4'3", 4'4" guy who, and I don't understand this. I know Ohio State's got a lot of good players. Okay, Neil? He had 2 kick returns during his career at Ohio State. One of them was a 100-yard touchdown. How do you not get more after you take one back 100 yards for a touchdown? I don't know, but the Saints should give him a shot at returning kicks because in his limited time at Ohio State doing it, he was really good at it. And then Barry Brown, really speedy receiver from LSU. Saints, a lot of Saints fans are also LSU fans. And, you know, LSU's had so much success that, you know, people are always on the Saints about drafting LSU. How come we don't draft more LSU players? They're right here in our backyard. How come we don't draft more LSU players? So Mickey Loomis, the Saints GM, he walked into the news conference. Saints also have a reputation for moving up to take guys who they really, really like who don't pan out. So Mickey Loomis walks in, he says, hey, we didn't move up, and we drafted an LSU guy. So I don't imagine there's going to be any questions today. So let's just, you know, move on. So I like what the Saints did. I mean, I think they've gotten drastically younger in the 2 years that Kellen Moore's been there. And I think he's retooling this roster to tailor it to what he wants. And, you know, I like the vision so far. I mean, he was right about Tyler Shough when a lot of people thought he was wrong. And he was right about him so far. I mean, he really, once the light went on in the middle of the season last year, he really played great down the stretch. So it looks like they're like, okay, we got that part figured out. Let's put a good offensive line in front of him. Let's put some good skill position players around him, and let's let him cook as he develops. Because if he makes the first to second year leap, like we've seen so many quarterbacks make, and he's markedly better than he was the last half of last season, boy, he's really going to be something special. So it looks like they're giving him every chance to do that, putting skilled players around him. They signed David Edwards, the guard from Buffalo, to fill one of the guard spots in front of him. Offensive line pretty solid outside of that one position, so they addressed that with money. Got Travis Etienne. So I'm bullish on the Saints. You know, I'm always a glass half full kind of guy, but I think there are some real tangible things to point to here to justify my optimism.
This New Orleans Saints football report has been brought to you by Bob's Beignet. When in New Orleans, visit Bob's for the best beignet. You're ready. You're ready to go. You're ready to go. You're ready to go for Saints pregame show.
I am so ready. I can't wait, man. I cannot wait. You know, between the Clippers and the Saints, I think like this is a good little flow. You know, I get some time off here, play some golf. You know, and then football cranks up, and then basketball cranks up right after that. So it's a good little flow.
Good, man. Good, yeah. What do you think of LIV Golf, man? Is it dead?
Looks like it. I mean, they're looking for new investors, okay? But anybody want to invest in a golf league that's lost $1.5 billion. Come on, step up, make your bids right now. Who wants to bid on a golf league that's lost $1.5 billion that nobody's watching on TV? Come on, get your bids in.
Who wants to pay DeChambeau $500 million, right?
I mean, who's going to back this? Only somebody with unlimited cash, like the Saudis. And I saw somebody say this, and I thought this was really perceptive. This thing existed at the whim of two people, Mohammed bin Salman and the head of the Public Investment Fund, okay? And if they get bored with it, if they decide their priorities are elsewhere, for whatever reason they decide, whatever, it's over. They don't have any institutional framework. Like if the commissioner of the PGA Tour says, hey man, I'm out of here, PGA Tour is going to be fine. If the top 3 people in the hierarchy of the PGA Tour all step down, PGA Tour is going to be fine. That wasn't the way it was with LIV. I thought that the players took the big money. I mean, like somebody's waving $300 million at you. I mean, that's hard to say no to, even given what they had to give up to get the money. So it's hard to blame them from a strictly financial sense. If you just look at this as, hey, I play golf, that's my job to play golf, I want to make as much money as I can doing it. Well, somebody offers you $300 million to play less golf, then as a value proposition, it's something you got to take. But that being said, okay, you made your bet and you took the money. Okay, well, guess what? It didn't work out. And the same way that you won in the standpoint of you got that money based on that decision, okay, now you lost. Okay, the decision's kind of flipped on you now, and you're going to have to give some of that money back to get back on the PGA Tour. And I don't blame the PGA Tour because you signed up with a rival that I don't know if they necessarily wanted to destroy the PGA Tour, but they at least wanted to make them a less viable entity, which hurts everybody involved with the PGA Tour. So if you want to come back after you sign up with this competitor, well, you got to pay up. You got to pay up. There has to be a penalty for that, because what's going to happen the next time somebody tries this?
Yeah. So what is the penalty? Is there is it to be determined?
Yeah, I don't know. So Koepka and Patrick Reed already agreed to deals to come back. Koepka's already back. Patrick Reed's coming back later this summer. I don't know the exact terms, but there were some terms that they had to agree to. And supposedly this was, hey, here's your chance, take it or leave it. Rahm didn't take it, DeChambeau didn't take it, and so now they want to come back. And so now it's like, okay, well, we're going to create a second chance for you to come back. Well, I think the cost has to be a little bit higher because you bet against us twice. Okay, you bet against us when you left, and then you bet against us when we offered you the chance to come back. Okay, and so there has to be some repercussions for that, and I don't blame the PGA Tour at all. I heard some discussion on the show today and said, hey, the PGA Tour, Stephen A. Smith said, oh, the PGA Tour, we should be on these players. We should be on the PGA Tour, for not allowing these players to come back. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. The PGA Tour stood firm. They upped their purses. They made things more palatable for the guys who stayed, as they should have, to reward their loyalty. Okay, but nobody forced these players to go to LIV. It was purely a money grab. This was not, oh my God, we're starving on the PGA Tour. Now, did the players want more money from the PGA Tour? Of course they did. Show me any group of professional athletes that doesn't feel like it's entitled to more money from the entity that governs its sport. That's the nature of the business, okay? But does that mean that you leave and go to LIV? That you were forced to go to LIV? Because no, you weren't forced to do it. You made a voluntary choice to go. And now if you want to make a voluntary choice to come back, what's it going to cost you?
Yeah.
I've always been more of a PGA Tour fan. I can't watch LIV. I mean, first of all, the first screw up was going 54 holes. And LIV, LIV, that's the Roman numerals for 54, okay? So now you've killed your guys' chances to get world golf ranking points because they don't play full tournaments, okay? That's the first mistake. Second mistake is you're blaring music while they're playing, and you got them in shorts. You got them playing a shotgun. People start on different holes, and the whole setup of it was just bad. It was just bad. And then you had the team thing because you thought, okay, we're going to build these franchises and people are going to buy these franchises and there's going to be another way to make money through this whole thing. And then that fell flat. So it was poorly conceived. I don't know if they did focus groups to see how golf fans might respond to this, but if they did, they got the wrong answers because all of it fell flat. Nobody watched it. There's no history. There's no, like, a big part of golf is the romance. You know what I mean? This is the place where Hogan hit that 1-iron. This is where Tom Watson made that chip at Pebble Beach and, walking in those footsteps. You got none of that at LIV. And so, I can't say I'm going to miss it because I never watched it. And I watch everything. I watch LPGA, I watch DP World Tour. I'll watch amateurs, but I never watch LIV.
This is true. This speaks volumes, folks, because Stan, when we were done putting the show together, and we had extra time before we went on the set, he's watching golf videos on his computer and doing practice swings in the hallway. I mean, and so for a guy who's probably as big a golf nut as I know to say I'm not watching LIV, that tells you all you need to know that LIV was unwatchable. Yeah,
it just didn't have so much of what makes golf special. Especially like the shotgun start. It's like, what is this, a member guest? You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Guys out in shorts, music blaring. Like, hey, you need people barbecuing. You just need people barbecuing out there. To make it better. Just have people barbecuing. Maybe give them those little golf scooters where you can put your clubs on the back and you can give them the scooters. Just make it totally silly. If you're gonna make it silly.
Yeah, or like have whoever fit. So what do they golf on LIV? And twosomes, threesomes, foursomes, right?
I don't know. I never watched it.
Yeah, I didn't either. But let's say it's three dudes golfing for each hole on the shotgun. Whoever finishes last each hole has to chug a beer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Give them mulligans. I mean, let's just make it super silly. We're gonna make it silly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was never a good product, and I don't think I think it's going to be a footnote in the history of golf, except for the guys who pocketed all that cash. I mean, if you pocketed all the cash and you still got to come back to the PGA Tour, I mean, in a sense, you won because they're not going to ask for all of it back. They're going to ask for some of it back, but you still won. Financially, you still won.
Yeah, but you've also lost some of your juice. Like, I loved John Rahm when he was on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
And and when Patrick Reed, whenever in the Masters, like I root against him. Like DeChambeau when he blew up on the day 2 trying to get into the Masters and he couldn't get it out of the sand, I kind of giggled. It was kind of like karma for some of these guys. And this guy right here says, first time chatter DJ Snoopy says it's like streamers leaving Twitch for Kick. Yeah, what were they thinking? Twitch is where it's at. Yeah.
Exactly. I was just going to say that, but he beat me to it.
There you go, DJ. First time chatter, too. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you,
Shout
DJ.
Shout out to Snoopy. Yeah.
Anything else going on in the chat? What else going on in the chat?
Well, guys are saying you're not going to waste our time talking about Mike Vrabel, are you? Oh, wait, that's next. Yeah.
Oh boy. So should there be any sort of a penalty for Mike Vrabel, or is this just a personal thing that had nothing to do with him coaching the team? And so it's like this doesn't fall under the NFL's personal conduct policy, does it?
No, there's a penalty for Mike Vrabel, and it's called Mrs. Vrabel. Okay? That's his penalty. And then he walks into a room, and they give him a standing ovation. It's just, I mean,
yeah, but you know, some of that is he's our guy. And the way we show that he's our guy is we support him when he did something that's wrong. Like okay, Barry Bonds. Okay, there was all the steroid suspicion about Barry Bonds. I don't know if he did it or not. I mean, there's circumstantial evidence. But in San Francisco, they're like, he's our guy. We don't care. We're gonna cheer for him no matter what, and forget all the rest of you. So now New England is like, hey, Vrabel's our guy. Whether he did this or not, he's our guy. And the way we're gonna show you that we stick with our guy is by giving him a standing ovation, even though there's all this stuff out there.
Yeah, I think you can support your guy without being without the whole standing ovation thing. I mean, the fact that you showed up at whatever the event was means you support the guy, you support the team, but you don't reward bad behavior with applause. I mean, you stomach it. You hold your nose and take the medicine because it's your team and your guy. But to stand up and applaud it is just, it's disrespectful to those, you know, it's disrespectful for those who play the game the right way that Barry Bonds didn't, and who conduct themselves the right way, which it looks like Mike Vrabel hadn't. So he can be your guy, but let's stop with the standing ovation. That's my thought.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously not going to pay for it with his career, the way it appears that Diana Rossini might. Although, you know, some of these outlets out here, you know, that are just in it for eyeballs, they could hire her just to get the eyeballs.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So her career may not be over. Her credible career may be over, but there are a lot of less than credible purveyors of content that might be happy to have her, that might be thrilled to have her now because of this. Now, I don't know if she will embrace that persona, you know, in order to do it. But we'll see where that goes. But I don't think there's going to be any career ramifications for Vrabel, because like what can Robert Kraft say? What can Robert Kraft say? Is Robert Kraft in a position to discipline Vrabel?
I don't think so.
So I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Like, how far does the personal conduct policy? I mean, first of all, nothing's been proven. I don't know how you actually prove it. I don't know. I don't know if there's been any admissions. I mean, Vrabel kind of danced around it without really admitting anything. Hey, I need to go to counseling. Well, counseling for what, Mike? Yeah. Very non-specific. So you might be right. The only penalty may come from Mrs. Vrabel, because who else is going to penalize him? NFL's not going to penalize him. Kraft's in no position to penalize him. So I mean, do you think if you're a coach who, preaches Patriot way and accountability, and do you lose some standing in the minds of your players, or is it just locker room stuff like, hey man, coach, yeah, you and Diane, I saw the pictures, is it just a locker room thing where it's not a big deal for the players?
Well, I think it follows you wherever. Leader of men, Urban Meyer. Every time you see him, that's what you think. Oh, there he is, the leader of men, Urban Meyer. There he is, Mike Vrabel, the guy preaching accountability as he exits the interview. It becomes a stain. It's a stain on their resume, and it's one that everybody got to witness.
But it's football, and it's locker rooms, and it's a lot of male bravado and a lot of machismo, and in the mind of the modern NFL player, is your coach reportedly, allegedly appearing to have an extra amount of, is that a big deal in how you see him?
Well, I think it's up to the individual. What are your morals? I mean,
Yeah.
if I play for the Patriots, I got to listen to him. He's my coach, but I could also be thinking in the back of my mind, he's full of shit. Don't talk to me about it. I got to listen to it because I'm on the team. My point is more the Joe Q public is going to be every time they look at Mike Vrabel and he's acting, and I got to listen to him talk about the Patriot way. I don't want to hear it because you've Urban Meyer too. Just you've lost some juice with me because of how you've acted outside of this locker room or outside of this huddle or out off the basketball bench or out of the baseball dugout, because that's how I'm wired. I'm wired differently than you're wired. I would never have done what you did, or I would hope I would never do it. And if I got caught at it, then I'm not going to preach about accountability and then leave the room. You're going to have to take your lickings. So
yeah, but I think for most people, I would hope the marriage vow is the most important vow they're going to make in their life to another human being. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not like that for everybody. And it's and when you bring in fame and money, I think that starts to be less important. Like the annals of major sports and celebrities in general are just littered with people who have affairs. So I don't know that it, for people for whom that is a sacred thing, I think, it's really, really important and it puts a stain on his character. But I don't know how many of those people there are. And maybe that's a commentary on our society, but I don't know to how many people that's a really, really big deal, the affair part of it.
Well, I'm just glad we're not making any money on this show because I can just say happily married. All right. Hey, we got to roll. I got the dogs are looking at me like, hey, man, dinner was a half an hour ago. All right, where's
Jeff.
Producer Jeff?
Come
on, Jeff, where are you?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
good stuff.
The sound's working well from the bunker.
One quick note. Stan and I, both alum of Howard University, today they hired John Wall to be the president of basketball operations. Yes, that John Wall. Yes, this John Wall with Justin. That's Justin in that black jacket there at Howard Homecoming. Can you see the picture on the screen?
That's your son.
That is Justin, our moderator, my son, with John Wall at Homecoming. I think that's Andre Blatch in the background. And there's a Bentley. I think that belonged to John Wall back in the day.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Look, Howard's athletic program is on the rise in general. And, the last few years, we won a football conference championship, won a basketball conference championship, men's and women's. The men's and women's golf teams, which I'm a proud supporter of, just won both conference championships.
NCAA.
Softball won the conference championship. And so, Howard is really making a commitment to athletics. Kerry Davis, athletic director, really making a commitment to Howard athletics. And so we'll see, this whole general manager thing. I mean, you get a big name, hopefully can attract, some players in the portal, because that seems like that's what everybody's doing. But I was talking to some very prominent alum who's with the NIL collective just the other day. And he said, look, Howard's going to be poised to possibly make it to the second weekend of the tournament. Like that's the goal now. It's not just get in. It's, hey, let's get a good enough seed where we have a chance to make it to the second weekend because we're not a 15 or a 16, and then let's execute and get to the second weekend. Now, that's a lofty goal, coming out of the MEAC, but that's the goal. And so, you bring in a guy like John Wall in keeping with that goal, I would think.
Well, with 76 teams now, the MEAC for sure will get more than one.
No. no. MEAC's getting one still. But,
Hey,
I think what they're going to do, they're going to play a very aggressive non-conference schedule and then hope that those they steal some non-conference wins. You play Maryland, you play Georgetown, you play George Mason, you play GW, like you do a little round robin in the D.C. area, play against those big conference teams, and then hope you can sneak a couple of wins that'll come in handy in March.
Go feed the dogs.
Hey, before we go, score update. 83 to 36 at the half, Knicks.
Yeah.
83 to 36 at the half.
In Atlanta.
Who let the dogs out?
That's embarrassing.
Hit it, Coach D.
Let's go.
How's it? Do you know what time it is?
Let's go.
The Stan and Neil Show. 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 With Stan, Stan, he's the man. And who's Stan's biggest fan? Well,
It's Neil.
and Neil, he keeps it real. And that's why Neil's the deal. Stan and Neil back together again, spreading the love with all their old friends.
Let's go.
Stan and Neil back together for years, keeping it cool, 'cause cool's our rule. The Stan and Neil Show. 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 The Stan and Neil Show.
Yeah. All right, let me hear it all back. See what we got so far.
So shout out to Coach D for the jingle, the Stan and Neil jingle.